out for the Ash tanks, and here, well, you don't know what to watch out for when you're playing against LyokFox, and that is definitely at least a chip on their side when you compare over to Reconic. An overwhelming amount of the fans have voted for Reconic here this time around, ready, set. But while we don't know what LyokFox might bring to the table, when we look towards Reconic, we will see what they're able to bring. Ready, set, as I said. We'll catch up with them a little bit later. Me and Kenny are going to be your pilots for this one right here. We'll jump into picks and bans right quick. And the Bell first selection off the rip. LyokFox certainly going the long range meta with respect to safe zone, answered by a Brock.
Interesting stuff to kick things off here. It's going to be Gary taking a Bell, 8-bit an immediate selection after that. Interesting to see 8-bit into a Bell. Normally we see the opposite effect because Bell's bounce shot historically does quite well into 8-bit. I still love 8-bit on this map though. I think I can live with it, especially if Chepo, presuming he plays this brawler, ends up popping off with it. 8-bit has that kind of X factor with his gadget and super synergy. I mean, that high safe will be hurt. So I like this. Two brawlers that can dish out a heavy amount of damage. They have the long range to keep up with Bell. I like this start from Reconic Esports.
Certainly a nice look. Squeak coming through. Best brawler right now, Squeak, yes or no?
Squeak at the top of the meta, I don't think it's a predefined best pick, but I think it could certainly work. I think it can get some nice choke points on this map, especially since the introduction of those indestructible walls right side and top left side from our perspective. I think he can have some good value. Don't mind the pick at all.
Nice answer. I kind of baited you a little bit there. Squeak, I think always is about map specific. If you can find little choke points, as you said, just these zones where you're not allowed to go, that's where Squeak really makes his money. On safe zone, we'll see how it works out. The cult coming through, we got to talk about that one. I think the Sam combining on the side of Reconic, certainly kind of, I don't know, outstandard, but I see what you're going for. But the cult, it's been a long time since we've seen the cult, and you could argue that cult's stock went down with unbreakable walls.
It's crazy that we see the cult, and that's the most surprising thing considering a Sam's on the field as well as
right.
zone. A lot to take in there. However, Sam has shown up on this map more and more. Again, he showed up a lot last month for NA in general, and even Reply Totem, a team that won a monthly finals this month for the first time, used this brawler to get a win on the set earlier this weekend. A lot of interesting interaction. Maybe Colt is just a comfort brawler for these guys. Hard to say. The DPS there. Colt is a brawler, though, very hard to pilot. So it's going to take a lot here, and we're going to have to see what these gentlemen are made of. Big super going down right-hand side. Shine, though, still able to prevail, climb his way up that map, and cycle out that super for some extra HP.
You know, the Sam selection is absolutely just an ego pick. Shine is just saying, I can outperform, I can dodge and weave enough to make it past the midfield. And he did, but did not get any damage onto the safe as soon as he did so. LyokFox, the first one's on the board here, 14%. Got that backwards. Reconic nailing that 14%. I don't think it was Sam, though. Must have come from Chepo or Frixie.
They've got a real opportunity with both Frixie and Chepo. I mean, Chepo, especially if he can establish a turret there, can be very powerful. I think they're going to have to be very careful about breaking that little four-pronged wall there in the middle. The few logs is where they can really establish a turret, gain some control, get those peak shots going down. I think they're going to try and take advantage of that there. Big defense coming in from the red roster as well. A few nest eggs to try and trip up Shine, possibly, the one that'll be most aggressive going down that field. But all things considered, this is very close. Both these compositions very interesting. Both playing them pretty well so far with a minute to go.
Shine just eating damage from Abtree, but Chepo doing a good job of also being here, providing a secondary target. Both right laners fall down. But Chepo helping Shine in the best of ways. Still, Reconic has a slight lead here, making it larger as Chepo just laying in from the mid lane. 8-bit go brrr, and just a third left for LyokFox. Sam showing up on the back end as well, and Reconic find their moment. Just 25 to go, Kenny. I think this one is all but dusted.
I mean, what an insane turnaround here for Reconic Esports. They had a small lead, and then 0 to 100 is the right way to put it. Definitely not the adjective I would have first thought of, but it's going to get the job done nonetheless.
The Colt was selected before the Sam, so I'm not going to give them all the big brain stuff in the world here, but breaking open this right side lane so Sam has a harder time getting across the battlefield, certainly not a bad look. So I don't hate the Colt selection after all. Ultimately, it was 8-bit in the mid that did a lot of the damage to this enemy safe. So LyokFox got to pay attention to Chepo, and they do just that, finding the kill. But Frixie wins on the other side, and Ojita has to watch out.
Yeah, and this is going to be a real problem here up top as well. Shine just swiping through, getting some big punches going down as well. Oof. Double kill going down, and he's still alive, regaining some HP and right back where he started. They almost have to debate to break this open here. They haven't used the super quite yet. There it is. Doesn't do a ton of damage though, and guess what? Shine with another pop-off, really allowing for Chepo to just throw down shots, and now they're less than 50% and well past 25 to go.
Wow. I feel like we just started here, and Shine gets some damage on the board, but his teammates get even more so. And just a hair of HP left on the box itself. Pop! Reconic Esports take the game and the set. They don't seem like it took them much effort. Heist in the pocket. Shine just going to work.
Yeah, just another day in the office. I mean, again, nobody celebrating too early. Very
big shout outs to the 8-bit play as well, especially in that first one. We'll
yeah, I think that
over here to Crystal Arcade. Gem Grab is going to be up next here. Hot Zone, Open Zone will be our third set. So Kenny, setting the table here for Gem Grab on Crystal Arcade. We've seen a lot of Sandy in North America here. You think we'll see it again?
I think Sandy is definitely a possibility here. We'll see if it even enters the ban stage. I think Sandy is somebody that's risen a little bit more as the meta's progressed through these balance changes. But I'm looking here and we're seeing Buzz on the other side. We're seeing Ash getting banned. Again, good brawlers for this map. Certainly worth a pick here and there, but a little more circumstantial, maybe scouting out their opponents or maybe knowing what they just don't want to play against here. We see Shelly go down as a ban on the right-hand side. No Cordelius to be seen though, and he has shown up a ton this weekend. Interesting. Mr. P as the first overall selection. That's not one I would have guessed, F-Dot.
I mean, Mr. P was a large topic of conversation throughout the entire summer. And I feel like that conversation has quieted down a little bit. So first selection overall for Reconic. Might be a swag pick. We'll see how things progress. Things did go pretty easily for Reconic, so they might let their foot off the gas a little bit. Or maybe I'm just chatting nonsense and this is part of their strat. I guess we'll see once things kind of hit the ground running. But Tadier first pick, we've got Tara showing up here. Strong super.
Agreed. I think a good choice here, one that can pierce through the spawners as well. And of course, Tadier coming in for Gary. We saw Gary a little bit ago. In-game looked a little of a different name, of course, but that is the substitution we're going to get to see here. So all four of these guys going to touch down on the playing field. Mr. P, with all due respect, does have one of the higher play rate wins. I'm just a little surprised that we see it as that first overall selection. That's one of those things I expect to see later down the line. So Tara paired with Cordelius, I think this is actually a great couple brawlers here for our red roster. I think this is about as good of a 2-3 turn as you can get.
Yeah, I agree there. Also worth noting, you know, something, this is a big duh, but something that people kind of forget when looking at stats. Stats always tell us the story of what happened in the past, and we use that data to kind of formulate opinions on what's going to happen in the future. But that's kind of what I was saying about Mr. P. Mr. P's high on the win rate. Mr. P was high. We were talking about him, but things have changed. A couple of Brawl talks, and Mr. P not kind of the guy that he was just a month ago or so. And so Crystal Arcade, LyokFox looking for their third selection. Mr. P, Spike, and Gus here coming out for Reconic Esports, Crystal Arcade. I like this draft. I think Mr. P, even with the conversation about him with respect to how strong he is, I think Mr. P works in this draft. Certainly mid-control, up for grabs. I think Reconic have a better draft trying to control that mid, but LyokFox with the Bell long range, I guess it really just comes down to the Cordelius.
Yeah, interesting to see how this one goes down. Bell, another one of those brawlers that's not necessarily normal on this map. I think this might be just a circumstantial one that they're going for. We have the life plant and we have the Mr. P Porter. So Bell's going to have several opportunities to get some bounce shots. In terms of long range against Gus, can also keep up in that category. I feel like it almost is a must that Gus and Bell play as respective mids for their teams. And I think it's going to come down to big lane matchups as well. If Mr. P can cycle in good sporters, if we can get some spike victories as well, going to be a big difference maker here. So I think this one is simply going to come down to some mechanics.
LyokFox, folks, waving that stamina pin. Yeah, Ojeda here versus Frixie Spike and losing. So the plant matter goes the way of the cactus, not the mushrooms. And then Tadier versus Chepo on the left side. Tara going head-to-head versus the Penguin. Mr. P doing well here. Is that the way that matchup's supposed to go?
I think it depends a little bit. I mean, Mr. P can also deal with those, you know, extra helpers from Tara pretty well, especially if it's right off the rip. If they start to fan out, spread out, not as easy, but Tara can kind of do the same thing, right? We're going to see Mr. P Porter go down. If they beef it up a little bit harder for Tara, going to cost a few more shots as we're seeing here. And ultimately, it's going to win that matchup. I think in my mind, I thought Mr. P would maybe struggle into that a little more, but I think with the HP that those Porters have, it's actually going to take Tara several shots. So I'm definitely open to being wrong on that interaction. I just think the Tara Super as well can go a long ways for Gym Grab as a mode. They got a lot of work cut out for him, though. It's a countdown for Reconic.
A dozen as LyokFox looks to push forward. Chepo does fall down, but 9 gems on Shine, 1 on Frixie. And he does fall down. We'll restart the countdown as it's still 9-1 spread. Just a hair to go. Tadier on the right-hand side, Ojeda on the left. All they have to do is get Shine or Chepo. They can't choose. Shine at the last second falls down, but LyokFox pushed everything in the middle of the table. And they lose everything. One more time, Reconic counting down from 13, but Frixie has all 10 on him this time, and in a much better position. Reconic take game 1.
With the brawler count going their way, consistent 3 throughout that game, it was just Reconic Esports time to shine. So one more away, and they will be taking 2 straight sets. Big opportunity here for Red Roster. We're going to have to see a big difference here from what we've seen so far in this match.
Well, right away, Cordelius is going to swap over to the left side, try to deal with the Mr. P. Chepo played it very, very well into the Tara last time around. Cordelius lands the mute, but won't find anything else. Now the Porters are out. Chepo getting aggressive. Takes down the left side player. LyokFox also loses their gem carrier, so 4 gems in the pocket, making 5 for Reconic, one of which was stolen. And Reconic maintained mid-control.
Nice job done here. Little Shadow Realm battle going down. A shield being popped. Shine staying more than healthy. I like that choice from him a moment ago, getting really aggressive onto enemy lines, knowing that he had his ghostly friend to help him out with that extra HP. About 4,000 being added every time you pop that super. So definitely worth the risk there, especially into just Cordelius, who has such short range. Really well played. Nice block out there from the life plant. Frixie putting on a clinic here on this right-hand side. Big pickup for the red side, though. Shine being forced away with a lot of work left to be done. It's 9-3. We need to see the other side really start to shine and pick up some kills.
Reconic now stepping forward, should be able to grab 10th gem. I don't know about right here. All right, right here. Just stepping forward. Dangerous situation, but Reconic has faith in themselves. Tadier still behind enemy lines. Actually not dead just yet. Shine with all 10 trying to step forward and grab a couple of shots, but this one should be done. Tadier falls. Reconic stands strong. And again, they take gem grab this time around.
Nicely played. Reconic kind of just...
My best strategy. Throwing it at the wall and seeing how my opposition has poked holes in it, Kenny. I think that's LyokFox's #1 goal here, to learn from this situation, learn from this this endeavor, and then level up for next time around.
Love that. Leveling up. I mean, well said in the sense that the expectation we put on these guys is not the same for a common team like Reconic Esports NA. All three of their players have been around the block for North America West, for North America, previously for regions. They're really good players who arguably don't have as much to prove. But even just seeing yourself take one game, one set, that's a much bigger deal for somebody like LyokFox. So gonna give it their all here, I'm sure. And it's going to be left to open zone to see if they can take us to a fourth set. First overall selection going to be Amber, a very common brawler for this map.
Bans coming out as well. Nothing really exciting to really write home about. Somebody's got to ban the Lou, and it's going to be LyokFox over here. I do love that North America still thinks of the ice cream man. He's so cute. But our Poco selection. All right. Poco, as Gary is stepping back in for Avtray. And this is something I like here from LyokFox, to be honest with you. We have a number of 4-person rosters in professional Brawl Stars now. I think STMN, Tribe were some of the first teams to kind of dabble with it. And now we see a couple of squads kind of go for it. Chazmac has the same thing, etc. But usually we just see like one swap, maybe two over the course of a match. LyokFox has been back and forth, swapping players in and out, which, I mean, sure, half full, half empty. We could argue what's better or worse, but LyokFox, things haven't been working. And so they're switching things around. I like that approach. Poco B are the choices for them.
I think a strong pairing here too on the 2-3 turn. Two brawlers for a long time that have shown up on this map. Sure, it is a long-range looking map, but Poco has a ton of health points, can heal teammates, can be really pesky to get a takedown on, especially when he's cycling in those supers or those gadgets. So I think that this is a viable hot zone option. Again, be somebody with the long range, heavy hitting as well, can deal with Amber if she plays it right. Again, mechanics are a big factor as well. I like the ego playing to a single shot brawler like B. Max is an interesting one. This is kind of a back and forth that a lot of people will have in Brawl Stars. Does the max speed deal well enough? Can you dodge well enough as a pro player into somebody like B Super, which slows you down? I think it comes down to a lot of mechanics in that spot. Max somebody that's not as strong recently. I trust in the Reconic Esports mechanics, though, to get the job done. Pam, though, a pretty good way, I think, to cap off their draft here, especially going into somebody like Amber.
I got to agree. I think, excuse me, I think the max, I reiterate everything that you said here. I don't think it really fits into this draft. I don't think it really does much here. Conversation about the sharpshooter for sure, but this is just Reconic leaning on their ability to press buttons, right? Just leaning on their mechanics. On the other hand, Pam isn't going to get outmaxed, right? Neither is Poco. You're really just looking at the B there. So LyokFox, I think they have a good situation for if they get on the point. The problem is that if is pretty big. Chepo just walks all the way up the right side and winds up dying. And so Reconic are the first ones on the point. This is a moment for Lyok, but they're just not stepping forward. Looks like a confidence issue, man.
Yeah, tough situation, right? I mean, Chepo walked forward, died, but they didn't take advantage. They didn't press up onto that hot zone quickly enough, and as a result, capture points not really going their way. It's 45% to 3%. Now they're being held back here. Pam's somebody that deals out good damage, but it's going to take her several shots to get a takedown on a brawler. They fan out, have to really be careful about how you use it. Poco, another one that's not going to be lethal in terms of the damage category, now going to be slowly dwindling away from the flames engulfing him. 75% now for Reconic Esports for putting these mechanics to perfection.
You know, this, I really want to point this out as Reconic is just doing their job here, taking care of business, LyokFox. This is the reality, is that having a pro player's name above your brawler does add real stats. Down to if LyokFox steps on the point, do they win the set? That's pushing it. But I absolutely think that at the end of the day, Reconic definitely just has a little bit of star power here, no pun intended, and LyokFox didn't really identify their moment to shine.
I think that's well said. I think in general, those are just kind of those learning curves that we want to see these guys take, that leveling up kind of approach. And now they're being much more aggressive, at least on this right-hand side. Pam not afraid to do the dirty work here. They're going to lose a brawler on the left-hand lane. Max speed being distributed now to Frixie with a good flank there as well, dropping the ego shield. Gets themselves some good placement. Will phase shift away from
this is the play.
But this is the opportunity. Time for them to start capturing some points. Let's see what they're made of.
And look, there it is. LyokFox, they step together forward. Here we are. Now LyokFox on the point. You love to see it. Frixie gets taken down. Shine shoved out. Chepo trying to make a play on the right-hand side. Now remember what I said. If LyokFox gets to the point, they should stand here pretty well. Pam can build up a super and drop a healing totem. Dogman has a couple of, or excuse me, Poco has a couple of options. Hat tripping me out here. But just like that, Reconic able to answer. Chepo with the flank really sends LyokFox just in a tizzy. They don't know what to do when they can't see the max. And ultimately, that's what winds up winning the spot for Reconic.
Now some extra speed going down as well. 20+ percentage point lead. We're gonna have to see LyokFox step it up here in the final moments. Even getting a game here would be a big deal for some players like this, making their appearance on a broadcast stage. They take down the Ego, low HP, relying on the healing station here. All the Reconic brawlers grouped up, now super going down, casting Poco ablaze. Pam having to rely on this healing station again just to stay alive here. Only a few percentage points remaining. Frixie, Chepo, all they have to do is touch down for a few moments.
50% passed for LyokFox, but 100% hit for Reconic. They take it all, and they're headed to the grand finals. A nice look there for Reconic coming out of the top side. And Shine certainly